penetration test and investing in security isn't cheap. We are trying to make it cheaper by teaching companies how they can save money on securing their SDLC from the early days, because if you have the ready product deployed and all in maintenance already, then changing this one functionality may break integrations with other products, with products of customers, when we are speaking about APIs and all that stuff, good stuff. And then teaching, letting know software engineers that we found a bug in the code they have written 6 months ago costs a lot, because programmer now needs to spend a lot of time to figure out what it was all about. If we teach software engineers how to avoid those mistakes early, or we engage with penetration testers while doing internal QA processes, once the product is ready, we have MVP, minimum viable product, we have POC, hire those testers to test something, because when there are mistakes, bugs, you can learn from that to build a better feature in the same product in the future, and you can fix those issues while they are still fresh in the mind of software engineer. He looks at the code, okay, let's change it, one line, over. It doesn't take him that much time. And 1 hour taken from the life of a software engineer to fix security issues is 1 hour he cannot spend to create something for your business that's going to benefit your business. So security costs money, obviously, but the cost of negligence is much higher, especially with GDPR, which is going to actually set a specific amounts of money that companies are going to be charged with if they don't care about security. That's huge. If you are talking about numbers such as 4% of total yearly revenue of a company, if you are talking about the 20 millions euros as a fine for not taking care of customers' data, not having all these processes about data governance, because that's what GDPR is all about, then that's huge. Now customers and businesses have this incentive of taking care about security. It's not only about us now talking and telling them, hey,
right,
you got to do this to make your companies, your customers more safe, to make money for us. Now the law, local law and global law is enforcing on you to take care about security, because we've had it enough. We are tired of so many data leakages, where when we are speaking about privacy, we are almost naked at this point in time, because so many companies didn't invest in security enough, and hackers extorted that data and leaked it to the public. That's huge. And when we are talking about fines such as 4% of yearly revenue, I know companies that function only on the 2% margin profit. So they don't even make that much profit each year to pay that fine. So now you have the bankruptcy. Obviously it's not that explicit. The law and the prosecutors are going to really assess how much money they can pay. So this penalty is going to be somehow motivating, not devastating, right? But it's still money taken away. We've seen companies who after a breach lost hundreds of millions of dollars. If they had invested that money in security processes, 1/3 of this money, 5% of that money, if we are talking about Yahoo losing on the deal with Verizon, $300 million. If we take $100 million, that's a huge money. You can build a huge other company that's going to test your products. You can take $1 million, you can hire great experts. It's less than 0.3%, right? From this 1 million for 300 millions.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't invest in security now, you should expect that one day it's going to bite you back. And in the future, you may pay much more. And it comes at the cost of the last 10 years of your life you spent on building this business. So if you care about your business, if you care about your people, your employees, you should do at least a bit of security. Because it's not about achieving this 100% safety robustness. It doesn't work that way. It won't ever be the case. But what you can do is not making the work of hackers easier by not investing in security.
Right.
So, but making it harder you make them go after other companies that don't care about security. So you protect yourself by doing proper risk management and telling hackers, hey, why would you attack me if you need to spend 100 hours trying to find a flaw in our system? If there are so many companies around the world, and they know it, they have all that data.
Yeah.
So it's just about increasing the level, this threshold where hackers can actually do something bad for you. So it's not about protecting yourself 100%, but making one investment, spending 1,000 USDs per year on pen test. It has huge potential of saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars going further.
Right. You're sending a clear message here saying that it's worth investing in security testing. We're warning the companies that it might cost them a lot, maybe not even money, but at some point maybe even bankruptcy.
Right.
Can you recall any real life example where a security breach actually led to something spectacular and the company lost either a lot of money or even credibility?
Absolutely, yeah. So we had this whole huge, most people watching it probably heard about this, Verizon acquisition of Yahoo.
Right.
They were going to acquire Yahoo for $4.8 billion. When making the whole deal, while writing the papers down, making all this bureaucracy, they figure out that 2 years before the contract, Yahoo had a huge security breach, which they hadn't made public. And company, once there's a huge breach in the company, especially such high profile companies as Yahoo, they are expected to release that info to the public.
Right.
And there's so much of a bad press around Yahoo that Yahoo during this acquisition lost $300 million because Verizon said to them, hey, we are talking about $4.8 billion when everything was fine. We believed in you, we trusted you, but you failed us. You haven't told us about all those things that happened. We need to punish you for that, because it's not punishing for the sake of punishing, but the Verizon is also losing some credibility with associating themselves with such company. Because now they're making this acquisition of Yahoo not to make an acquisition and to be big. They're making acquisition of other business to make more money. And when they now know that customers aren't going to trust Yahoo and products created by Yahoo, they're generating churn. Like, they haven't even acquired it, but they already know that there is going to be churn involved, financial losses involved with this. So they said to them, hey, we can buy you, still buy you, but let's drop the stake by 8%. So that's huge money, 8%, right? That's a lot of money. Not even talking about 300 million, because people may perceive it as, what's 300 million for such a huge company? It's 8%. And like I said before, some companies operate on a yearly margin of 2, 3, 5% of profit. We've seen this in 2011 when the security company, huge security company, I believe it was Dutch security company, was acquiring DigiNotar, another security company providing SSL certificates. So they acquired DigiNotar in January. Let's use this date because the time spans will be short, but I'm not really certain about those dates. But in the January, let's say, that company acquired DigiNotar for 10 million euros. 6 months later, DigiNotar had a breach. When hackers went after what's most important in DigiNotar business model, they generated over 500 fake SSL certificates by which they were able to impersonate huge services such as Gmail, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, banking sites and all that. So now the whole business model of DigiNotar, which was providing trust, because SSL certificates are nothing else but trust, was broken. customers stopped trusting DigiNotar so much that over the next 3 months, they generated only 100,000 euros. So you acquired a company for 12 million dollars, which is 10 million euros. To then figure out that this company isn't going to be profitable anymore. In 3 months, he generated 100,000 bucks. After the next 3 months, the company that acquired the DigiNotar announced the bankruptcy of DigiNotar because they knew that their business model is all over. Because now browsers stopped trusting certificate generated and issued by DigiNotar. People stopped trusting in that, and the company that acquired DigiNotar, on the press release on the day of acquisition, said that we are buying DigiNotar because their systems are so secure that we believe their infrastructure, their SSL certificates, are going to be the best in the whole market. And now they noticed the breach. Now the breach happened. Everyone on the world stopped trusting them. Browsers stopped trusting them. And when browsers stop trusting you in SSL business, HTTPS certificates business, you are done because you are selling to people who actually use the certificates in conjunction with browsers. So we've seen plenty of those situations. DigiNotar, the company that acquired DigiNotar, lost $12 million. That's a huge money. Yeah. Yahoo, $300 million. Yeah. We've seen other smaller businesses, SMBs, bankrupt because it's not about the trust. If you go to the local store, small local store to buy veggies, you don't care about the security systems and all that. But if the person that's running this shop has a malware that's encrypting the whole data, whole database, cash registers don't work, he's losing money. Yeah. He can't work. He cannot operate. He cannot function normally. He cannot make money. To revert this machine to the state when it's clean and can operate again, they need to either pay ransom, which is a lot of money, or they need to make a factory reset or use the backups. But your veggie store doesn't have backups. They don't know what backups are. So they just can't afford. Many people just drop their business because they cannot afford to recover after a breach. In January this year, 2 months ago, we've seen a situation when big hospital in the United States was attacked by hackers who deployed ransomware on the workstations. Whole systems went on hold. No one was able to do anything. The ransom was $55,000 to decrypt all that data. Yeah. And the hospital had a choice to be made, whether we are paying $55,000 to recover all the data, or we are using our backups. And they were actually very honestly and diligently sending backups to the cloud. But most of the cloud storages works that way that when you send the data, it's very cheap to store the data. The whole money cloud storage services make is when you take the data back. Mm-hmm. So the hospital had some data recovery procedures. They were sending backups, but they haven't really tested the flow and procedures to expect the worst, because they were doing great stuff, but they haven't expected the worst, which is something you should be doing all the time in security. And when they calculated the risk of extracting all those backups in the cloud storage, it turned out the cost would double over the ransom. So they decided to pay the ransom. They received the decryption keys, and within 2 days, hospital was again up and running.
The whole situation is pretty scary, right? Because it was not even money that was in question.
Right.
It was human life that was in danger.
Precisely. Doctors couldn't work. They hadn't access to the patient records. Some patients were awaiting for the surgeries, for some immediate help. We are not only talking about money, cash, something we can earn with our time. We are talking about human beings potentially losing their lives, families losing family members, just because hospital, which is a business entity actually, didn't care enough to protect their data. And hacks and breaches happen, that's fine. But the incident response matters much more. We realize that every company should expect a hack to happen. They should be prepared that one day they are going to be attacked and attacked successfully. That's why we also help them with our incident response and blue teams to create the plan when everything goes wrong. How do we recover? So we help our customers how to build sane data recovery processes so they are actually actionable. Not something written on paper, not backups sent somewhere, but actually tested. That when the ransomware is deployed on our servers in our hospital, we need to pay $55,000 to gain the data back. That's a lot of money. If we had only tested those backups, if we chosen a different data storage, not the cloud, not maybe different cloud, maybe some local storage, we could be able to revert that data and get our systems back and running in much shorter time and at a lesser cost. So you cannot hide, that's for sure. You should be minimizing the risks by investing in security even a little, because every single penny invested in security is a single penny that attacker must invest more to break into your system.
Right.
And we are also focusing on this is going to happen. It's not a question of if, but when. And if you are talking about situation that's certain in the future, we know it's going to happen, then let's prepare for the worst. Operate your business like you would be going to operate this for a couple of centuries. Innovate, create stuff, make it better, make world a better place. But prepare for the worst, because there are people around you that are coming after you, after your money. And you need to prepare yourself what I'm going to do if everything goes wrong. If I'm hacked, if the ransomware is deployed, what do I do? If the data is extorted, what do I do? If you're a big company, public company, you must think about stuff such as PR, public relations. You must make sure that you notify your customers, you notify the government, you notify the local law enforcement entities.
Yeah.
Make sure that you communicate to your employees. You have the backup business plan. You have some money as a backup, because if you cannot make money each day, you're losing the money. Then you need to have some savings to keep operate while your data recovery team is getting your business back on its feet. So there are so many moving parts that a customer who's focused on building the product shouldn't really bother with ensuring security on their own. That's why there are so many companies, great companies, we are an example of such company, that focus on all those things for them. They just hire us, they just make a phone call, they tell us, hey, this is our business model, this is our IT stack, this is how we operate. Figure out a way to protect us, and they don't need to care about other stuff. We want companies to focus on what matters most, to produce more money, to generate more profit to the world, to the planet, to their families, to every one of us. And it's in our own business and interest to hire great people, to hire competent people. We are going to do everything for them, only if they open themselves for us and really see the dangers, because most companies cannot really manage the risks. Most people cannot manage the risks if they don't know what risks are there and what remediation plans are there. So that's how we draw that.
In other words, you can say we are here to help you.
Absolutely, precisely
run
right.
Your business without taking care of anything else.
Exactly. We've invested in building security team. We have so many partners. We have so many great security engineers working for us with a wide range of specializations. So when you call us and tell, hey, I think something wrong is happening in our data center, our server slows down, we have people who had been in this situation before. They know how to behave, they know how to help. If you want to sell a new product, you can call us. We have penetration testers to test security of your product, to make sure that your customers will feel safe with this. If you are afraid that your whole staff, all employees, aren't really security aware. They may fall a victim of social engineering attacks. You make a call, we do this for you. You focus on stuff that matters for you, and we help you keep your business up and running.
Okay, great. Thank you for a very interesting discussion. Thank you for your time here today.
Absolutely. Tremendous questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I believe we brought some value to it. Thank you.